Hello, my name is Kyle.
And my name is Rex.
We are your hosts,
And this is the Toasted Bread Podcast.
So, sir, what exactly is this podcast?
Well, the Toasted Bread Podcast is where we will be hosting this talk with some guests that we'll be inviting, some fellow Christians, and we'll be asking them to share about how they live out being a Christian wherever they may be. So they could be sharing about their specific ministries, whether it be at work or maybe even in their communities. And they could be sharing like how they could impact the lives of other people, how they share the gospel, and just being a salt and light wherever they may be.
All right, that's good. Yep, and our hope is to feature godly men and women who are in the ministry, and our hope is that they would share their wisdom with us, so that we can learn from them, and see how they use their spiritual gifts to serve God where they are. Actually, sir, I remember one time when I was with a friend out in college. She told me that in their church, there was this guy who would come over every weekend, and he would teach them martial arts. In their church. And when he taught them martial arts, he would always connect it to discipleship.
Wow.
Like that's a weird way of ministering if you think about it. You don't hear that a lot.
Weird, but that's precisely, I think, how Christians should be living. I mean, you don't need to be in a formal Bible study or a church fellowship to be a Christian, right?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, apart from that, I also remember this other guy. Like, I have this friend. He knows this guy who he always takes the bus, right? Like, for example, like you're in Laguna, like in southern Luzon, and you're always going up to Manila. Then you always take that trip on the bus. He has his friend, like every time he takes the bus, he'd always talk to the guy next to him.
Yeah.
And then he'd share the gospel. Like that's his normal life.
Normal
That's
day-to-day
his
life.
normal day-to-day life.
So we'd like to get into the lives of these people and see just how you can be a normal Christian, just doing your thing, but at the same time fulfilling God's will for us and commandment for us to spread the gospel to all nations.
Yeah, more than just talking to these people, we want to like know how they got to that point. What was it that God told them? How did the Lord lead them to what they're doing now?
What fuels that passion to
Exactly.
just like it's so normal. It's just so
Yeah.
normal to share the gospel, to connect things to discipleship, like you said.
I mean, for us Christians, it's probably we're so used to the whole, the routine of like going to church every Sunday, and then the rest of the week it's your normal week, and then maybe you'd have like, a few events here and there. I mean that's normal too, but then you have other people who actually start their own ministries.
Yeah.
And that's different.
So how to be a Christian every day, and just as part of whether you're a professional, whether you're a teacher, or whether you're a banker, or it doesn't matter. You can serve God. You can expand His kingdom. You can share the gospel. You can be a salt and light to your community. So what else do we intend to accomplish in this podcast?
Oh, well, actually, just as you said, sir, we want to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. And, well, maybe the person watching, maybe you're not a Christian, or maybe you are. Maybe you're new to the faith. Or perhaps you're that Christian who's been following Christ for a long time, but you're not really that active in church. Well, this podcast, we hope that there's something for you here in this podcast.
Yeah. We hope, of course, that you would be inspired to use your own spiritual gifts.
Yeah.
Your own spiritual gifts wherever you may be, and use it for God's glory and honor.
Yeah, because like every Christian has a spiritual gift. Like that's just it. That's just a fact. Like when you're born, you're given like, well, physical gifts. When you're born,
or it can be just like caring for others,
Yeah.
encouraging others, listening even. You don't have to be
Yeah,
a
stuff like
preacher, right? You
True.
don't have to be a Sunday school
yeah.
teacher.
But like as I was saying, like when you're born, you're like given certain traits.
Yeah.
Like from your parents, your genes. Like it's like that when you're born again by the Spirit of God. He gives you a spiritual gift, and that's something you're supposed to be using to build the church. Every Christian has that. Maybe you don't know what yours is yet. Maybe I hope this podcast would help you figure that out.
Yeah, or maybe you already are without you knowing it, and then we could do it better.
Yeah.
Right? So this podcast will soon be available, hopefully.
Yep.
Lord willing, on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Twitter, wherever. Maybe you can suggest as well.
Yeah. Also, look forward to our other projects like song covers and spoken words, spoken word poetry, binalaybay, and many more original content from this studio.
Exciting.
Yep. God bless.